Yeah, another Vlogger video. Yep, I'm recording. I think this would be sum up subject, sort of the looking forward, future kind of thing. What possibilities exist? We'll call that a subject and just throw some different subjects into there, like perhaps virtual reality or space travel or some other kind of stuff. Could be part of this subject. The survivability of knowledge, the functionality of the human organism going forward. What can we turn ourselves into to make this thing, needs to do a lot better than this. This isn't good enough, in my opinion. Not even close. Not just for the human beings, but obviously also, from my perspective, for all the feeling creatures on this planet. We got to do better for them and ourselves. I don't think we have a choice. We either do better or we'll just die badly, and that will be some accomplishment. Will be a sloppy ending to a sloppy existence, which sort of just is very disappointing that's all that comes. All this thinking and knowing is failing. That's dismal. So anyway, so where to go first? I guess the gloom, boom part is important, and it goes back to the fail-safeness of the Ethelist philosophy, the idea that the safest bet is not to bet. That's the safest bet. Don't gamble. Don't play with dangerous risk. So what comes short of that? Not playing at all is playing a really good game. But the necessity of it, I guess, is the more important subject, so I should get to that first. The argument that our nature, our violent nature, our intolerant nature, except we are pretty accepting of a lot of crap, but there's always these lines we draw, and once the line is drawn, we see what we do. We start droning each other. And that mechanism, that inability to deal with problems without resorting to violence, I have argued, is doom. You're not going to survive that, especially in a world where nuclear bombs are going to be more available, not less available, and where their application can be more insidious and less detectable and less accountability tied to the use and all of that. So in that atmosphere, there's a lot of we can't keep playing the same game. We can't keep pulling a gun out every time we got a dispute, because eventually somebody's going to pull out the gun of no return. The gun of we're all screwed. That was not that much fun. Don't think I'll do that again. It is a little treacherous here, but that was a totally unanticipated blunder. I wasn't having a good day as it was. I broke my sacroiliac. Where was I? Endeavor to persevere, Gary. Endeavor to persevere. Anyway, it wasn't even good enough, right? It's like I was talking the other day. I got to fall in a spectacular way. I just didn't fall spectacularly enough. If I would have knocked my own head off or something, then I could get 1 million views. I did see some idiotic video with 1 billion views. It's outrageous. Some kind of stupid Korean thing. Some bad music video. It's horrid. It's just, I don't understand the world I'm living. Why am I even talking to you people? You're insane. It's just insane. Garbage. Something should be damn spectacular to get 1 billion views. and it was not even close. So, so my future is obviously not going to be very long. But anyway, the human race, so what to do with it? The lens didn't fall off. Sorry, it's unnecessary crap in the middle of the video here. But, as they say, crap happens. So where was I? Okay, so we're not going to survive our bad habits. And so we're going to have to demonstrate some capacity to understand human psychology and deal with human psychology and find mechanisms where we agree to a system and invest in systems. And the irony is this is happening, the need for us to do this aggressively, to kind of consign ourselves into a management system, government, is at the very time when people are so hostile to government. So here's the great irony, is that when we have to do it, when we need it even more, people are less willing to accept the rules of a sane and survivable game. They don't want to do that. And so that's going to doom them. Their inability to take that minor risk, because if you do it right, there is no risk. It's just all about writing it up right and doing it with people who have no ulterior motive. It's really not that hard to do. And this is where we get into the subject of how little innovations could make a huge difference. Like, say, if we spent some money to develop a reliable lie detector. I've argued for this in the past. Sorry about the sun, but it's everywhere. That would solve a lot of problems, because then we could have honest politicians, and we wouldn't have to be as afraid of government. It would be a huge, just break the memes, break the idea that we can't trust, because we'd have some way to guarantee trust. That could make it possible for us to be willing to take the chance of trusting each other. Because the trust wouldn't be based on not knowing whether he's a lying son of a bitch, a backstabbing, evil, blah, blah, blah. It takes the corruption out of a system if you're guaranteed a bit of honesty. And accountability. Testability. I guess that's the word. We could trust based on evidence and testing. Yeah. So anyway, that's one innovation that can make the future more survivable. Just, a side thing that could have a big impact. It's like there are these other technology problems that could be sitting out there, some way to better glean the energy from the atomic structure. We come up with some better nuclear power that could solve a lot of problems if we had cheap, safe electricity, or power, energy. Another thing that would make it more possible to survive the future. Because this resource war is going to be a problem. Population's going to get too much, and resources are going to be for too few, and that's going to make it even more likely that we end up in some sort of war of the world. The big one. Alright. Outside of that, just trying to find a way to live with our psychology. I've advocated a fail-safe but unnecessary solution. I just rather we just get out of here. But if we were to stay, if we agreed to become virtual citizens in a virtual world, have our brains implanted into a matrix, it would be a very safe environment. We could harm others with impunity without any. There's no price to pay for it. They're all virtual people. We don't have to worry about people's dishonesty or anything else, because there's nothing for them to really harm. It's all virtual food, so there's nothing getting exploited or used up in satisfying your gluttony. And at the core, I think that is a concession that should be made by people, is that we are kind of gluttonous. We are basic by nature selfish, and that selfishness kind of expands to meet our imagination. We can imagine something, we can want it, and that makes us very dangerous. We're sort of insatiable, and in a virtual world, that insatiability, the vanity, the want to win, the competitiveness, could all be fed quite completely. You could have the illusion of a real contest, of a real fight, but you always win by some miracle. And so you could always feel like such the hero, such the, brilliant, just you could have a really good life, even an eternity, not failing. As long as you went in with some notion of what failure is. So that's the only downside to virtual reality, is you do have to go in with some idea, some notion of what it is to be a loser, to know what it is to be a winner, to want it, to need it. But anyway, it would work in terms of its fail-safeness. No nuclear bombs, no buttons in virtual reality that can reach to reality. And it takes the teeth out of the monster of the human tendency towards violence. But people just, I don't know why they're afraid of virtual reality. It could be as mundane as this. You could create a virtual world that is identical to this. Not that I would think that would be very smart, but they just don't get it. That you can, your life is your perception. It's just sense data. Why not clean it up and make it better if we can? It's just stupid not to. So anyway, the other point would be, is there anything else for humans to do besides entertain themselves? I think virtual reality is a concession to the point that there really isn't. We're just need machines in need of entertainment and not much else. So there isn't really much for us to do in terms of exploring the universe and taking our essence beyond the stars, because you're not going to find anything out there, and more importantly, you're not going to get out there. You're never going to make it. Even as digital memory chips, you're not going to survive the physical dynamics required to get anywhere with any kind of reasonable time frame. By the time you get where you're going ain't going to be there anymore. It really is an impossible place to navigate. So there's really no play in that game. You're stuck here, and the question is, should you keep obliging people to do this, year after year, decade after decade, just live out some sort of mediocrity, a struggle for little minor successes, a few good days, but mostly work and toil and stress and fret and worry, an awful lot of weight carried a lot of weight. There doesn't seem to be anything wise in doing that. And this idea of creating some sort of elitist human species that, pretends to be gods on Earth, and walk around in its ethereal state of mind. I don't see any sense in that either. There's not much to do. It's a game for animals, and it's a game that only dumb animals can really play effectively. You've got to be cruel and uncaring and thoughtless and reckless and sloppy to win. It's also the guarantees you losing 9 out of 10 times, but the only way you win is to be willing to be the fodder for the victor, to be the victor's sword, to be the victor's sheath, to be used up so the 1 in 10 can think himself a winner. Yeah, and the grand prize is you're doomed to. Your victory will be short-lived. That is guaranteed. Your records will be broken. Your memory, your existence will slide out of all memory, out of all acknowledgement. And it doesn't matter because you're dead. Just get real. Yeah. You'll live for your little glory, and that's it. It's nothing to make. Yeah, this is the dilemma of the future. There's no intelligent solution to this mechanics. You can't take these parts and make anything good. It's like somebody hands you, a pile of cat poo, some string, some Elmer's glue, and a badminton racket, and they say, okay, now make nuclear power. You're just not going to be able to do it with those parts. And you're just not going to be able to make something efficient or functional or, playable with this machine. It just can't be molded to civilization. It can't be molded to rational purpose. It can only serve irrational purposes. That's all there is. Yeah. Enough of a video. Sorry, I did intend these to be shorter videos, not longer videos. My Band-Aid fell off. But it is what it is. So I gotta get some more feedback and come up with some sort of debate rules and all that crap, but I'll add some notes eventually for this and such. Until next time.